Hello, hello, and today we are talking about theme. Now, when you're talking about a story, one of the most important things to identify is the theme. That theme is going to be a message about life or people. In some stories, maybe folk tales, we're talking about a moral of the story, so the overall concept that our author is trying to get us to understand based on what happens in the story, but we're going to call that theme. So I'm going to continue on talking about My Three Little Pigs. It's one of my favorite stories, and I think it's a really good example of how we can get theme based on what happens in the story. So at the bottom down here, I wrote the story's title, the story's author, and then we're going to talk about the theme. Now, after I've read my entire story, I'm going to go back and think of 3 details that really point to that theme and tell me, what are we trying to figure out, or what is the author trying to get us to understand based on what happens in the story? So in my story, the big parts of the 3 pigs are, we've got these 3 pigs, right? The first 2 pigs rush to build their houses. Maybe they don't spend a lot of money, right? They're just using sticks and straw, but they rush to build their houses, while the third pig takes his time, takes his time and plans carefully. Man, I'm really struggling with my spelling today, guys. So sorry. Plans carefully. All right? That's detail number 1. Now, I'm not talking a specific event so far from my story. I'm just giving some background information. This is what goes on in my story. And when I tell you the theme, you'll be able to understand how this detail points us in the direction of the theme. For detail number 2, I wanted to draw attention to how my big bad wolf, right? Just like last week, we're going to call him BBW, blows down 2 out of 3 houses easily, right? Those 2 houses that they didn't spend much time on, he's able to blow down easily. Those pigs have to run away and hide. All right, that's my detail number 2. Now, last but not least, I'm going to give a detail number 3. It may be near the end of the story, it may not, but it's going to kind of wrap things up and lead me to this theme. So my third house, this one that we talked about with our pig over here, took longer to build, but was stronger and BBW couldn't blow it down. All right, so that's what my 3 details for my story, and they all told me, after I reread the story and I really looked for these details, they told me that the theme is perseverance. Now, if you don't know what perseverance is, that is when you are persistent or you are determined to do something. Sorry, I can't talk and spell at the same time. Perseverance. So this some people might say dedication or dedicated to something difficult, right? Perseverance. I think another theme that we might be able to talk about would be take your time, right? That third pig took his time. He spent more time building his house, but it ended up being safer and keeping him safe from the big bad wolf. So I'm saying take your time. And perseverance. I think it's a little bit of both. And sometimes we have two themes that our author is trying to show us in the story. So it's totally okay to have two themes. And we're going to talk more about the theme in our small groups at the beginning of this week. But what I really wanted to show you is how to break down this theme graphic organizer, right? You're going to have the story's title and the story's author. You already know that based on after you've read your story from Monday. But you're going to go through, and I'm going to give you, actually, when you log on for your small groups Monday and Tuesday, I will give you your story's theme for this week. But on Tuesday, you're going to go through and find these 3 details that point us to the theme that we're going to talk about in small groups. So it's super important that you read the entire story on Monday, or if you didn't read it on Monday, make sure you go through and read it today. And find those 3 details that point to the overarching or the overall idea that our author is trying to get us to understand from the story. All right? That's all I have for our theme today. We're talking about the 3 pigs. Tomorrow you're going to fill out something that looks very similar to this for a royal mystery. So make sure that you are doing all the steps that you need to do to make sure that you are ready to go. Deuces, 5A.